What do you find is the hardest part of creating a review? How about I provide you with a list to answer your question? My biggest challenge is probably playing through the game, as ironic as that may sound. Some of the games that I've played aren't very good, and others aren't too bad but struggle to grasp my attention, especially if they can't be completed in 10 hours or less. Having to invest that much time in something isn't always fun for me, but I try to give games and their creators due diligence and play them all the way through if I can. Sometimes it can be hard to want to finish a game knowing I'm doing it to make a video, and it can take away from the experience knowing I need to pay closer attention to things instead of just going along with the ride. Normally, little issues like bugs, poor inventory systems, or unnecessary live counters don't annoy me, but it might be unplayable for someone, so I mention things like that so people can be informed. The second biggest challenge for me is writing scripts. Every video I've uploaded so far has a word-for-word script, because if I don't have it written out in front of me, I tend to fill the silence while I think with ums and uhs. With that challenge comes maintaining a balance of humor and information, though I tend to lean to being more informative. I don't want to waste anyone's time, so I try to make my reviews thorough and cover all of the parts that I deem important, and at the same time entertaining the viewer. So I spend a lot of time on scripts. It's hard to estimate the amount of hours because it varies heavily depending on the game. Sometimes the words come to me easily because the game is either simple or because it really impacted me and I have a lot of thoughts on it. The third biggest challenge for me is capturing footage, and the right footage, so I don't have to go back later and re-record things. With my first two reviews on this channel, The Bookwalker and Sea of Stars, I did entire session recordings, meaning I had hours and hours of footage to sift through at a time to pick out the parts that I needed or wanted. Now I use a software to capture 30-second clips at a time, and sometimes I forget to capture something because I'm either forgetful or because I'm really engrossed with the gameplay or story. Sometimes, if I'm in a high-intensity situation like a boss fight for example, I can't hit the record button because one misstep and I might lose the fight. My fourth biggest challenge I would say is editing. Currently, I use a free version of DaVinci Resolve, and it has pretty much everything I need and way more complicated features I haven't even bothered to learn yet. I have a pretty low edit video editing style. I don't use a lot of visual gags because I myself don't enjoy watching that kind of content. I don't need pop-ups every 5 seconds to grasp my attention, and I feel like short-form content and highly edited videos are bad for the human brain and attention span, especially for children. Not that kids watch my content. That, and it does save me a lot of work. I also use Audacity to record voiceovers. I can spend a lot of time in there editing out long pauses and breathing, and sometimes extra takes. My microphone is pretty sensitive, so it picks up a lot of unnecessary things I have to edit out as well. Lastly, I sometimes struggle with motivation. Kind of in the same vein, I also shoot myself in the foot, but I'll explain. So it can be hard to make videos that I know will hardly get any attention, but I don't like using clickbait to get someone on the video. When they see an indie game review on my channel, I want it to say the name of the game and that it's a review. I don't like it when people say things like, "This has got to be the greatest indie game of the year." I guess it's true that no one will watch your videos if they never click on it in the first place, but my hope is to retain people with authenticity. Low edited videos with a focus on the game and its content without a clickbait title and thumbnail. Those are my biggest challenges. Other than that, I may struggle with finding a game to make a review on. I don't really worry myself with what's popular or what's going to get a lot of views, because if I enjoy the game, then I know I'll subconsciously make a better video than if I hadn't liked it. I keep an eye out for Steam sales to see if I can get a good deal, because a lot of the games I cover I've never played, so I don't know if they're worth full price yet. At the time of recording this video, I have quite a backlog of games I've collected to make videos on, so right now that isn't an issue. I do sometimes get offered games for free. Developers will send me an email, and sometimes I do end up making a video on their game if it looks quality and has enough content for me to talk about. I don't review every single request, there's just not enough time in the day for that. There has been one game that I was provided for free and I had a lot of footage for it, but they released an update that actually made it unplayable, like I can't boot it up at all anymore. So that has been on the shelf for probably 3 months now as I wait for a fix so I can attempt to finish this game. This video was intended to be a Q&A video, but I only got one question, so it got a whole video dedicated to it. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed watching and like seeing a bit into my video making process. Subscribe for more indie game content. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.